even though I know that you're not here with me. It was as if you were.
That's James Leacock on the main mic.
We can still go to places far away to spread your light abroad, to let folk know you live. 'Cause you sent love letters straight into my window, my heart. Love letters, see, I'm trying to read your words. Love letters, see, you quicken my soul and set me free. Love letters, I'm proud that you wrote me. Yeah, you wrote me. Ooh-wee, 'cause you wrote love letters straight into my window, my home. Love letters, you see, I'm so proud to read your words. Love letters, you straighten my soul out and set me free. Love letters, I'm so proud that you wrote me. Love letters, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, little old me. Love letters, yeah, ooh, simple me. Love letters, yeah, 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 you wrote me. Love letters, ooh,
Getting things ready, guys.
I didn't have no home. Lord, you came along and called me
Hey.
your own. I didn't have family. Nobody did not to know me. But you came and you took out your pen and your ink and your paper. Well, you wrote me. Now the writing's on the wall. You wrote me.
Hey, Benji Black, give me some volume in my headphones. Yes, blessed by Jesus Christ. Never you cracking me down. Not at all. What is that?
I'm sorry, listen. Reggae just does that. Guys, it's time for 1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. Hey, come on, Duncan.
He always bless me. I know you test and stress. Christ, he always bless me.
Always bless me. Come on, Duncan.
In a situation, start to get position. Then I hear a voice, say boy lose your patience. Yes, it was the devil, that will the rebel. Then I bind the devil to him out, you want me say Jesus Christ, am I the best? No other that can contest. No feel you can give me stress. Be fast and pray, and minutes before me rest. When me wake up on me neck, try tell me that me blessed each and every day. Christ, he always bless me. Even though you test and stress. Christ, he always bless me. Every day, even though you test and stress me. When I stretch and I yawn and I pull my sheet, while I'm in my bed, the devil's in the feet. When I fast and pray and I walk the street, while I am just cool, the devil's in the heat. Lessons full like the Niagara Falls. Fill my cup till I got to get him up when it's raining past. Jesus love it is we talk to pass. I'll praise him, we talk to pass. Can you come the stars? Cause Christ, he always bless me. Even though you test and stress. Christ, he always bless me. Even though you test and stress me. Don't give Cohen Duncan applause. He's the father who wins the award. He's the start and the finish and the cast. Of how it's possible to bring down the walls. Even though I got enough but scars. He's the one who opened the doors. He saves me from Lucifer's jars. Makes me bling like 56 stars.
1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. Hey, let's go. Yeah, man. Okay, guys, so we just gotta get down to business now. I could play this all night. Trust me, I can. Yeah, I really can. So tonight we're talking about reversing diabetes. Let's get to chatting because you know what? Christmas is coming and a lot of goose getting fat. All right? So let's talk about this a little bit. Ooh, 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 ooh. Left, right, I'm in the Lord's army, I'm in the Lord's army, guys. Hold on. When was the last time you heard this? The Caribbean people. No, hold on. I was talking over that. Hold on 1 second. You remember this, right? If you don't get it, Grace Trillers. Ready?
Hail the power of Jesus' name. Let angels prostrate fall. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him. Crown him. Crown him. Crown him.
You guys can't see, but my foot up. So we were talking about reversing diabetes. King of Kings. Hey. Woo! Let us crown him Lord of Lords. Right, so we're talking about reversing diabetes. Love this song. Okay, so I actually started doing some research on this and got some information from the two primary people that I found that were really explaining it, very explanatory and simple enough for everybody to understand, were two guys, both of Asian Indian descent. One guy is he's passed. One guy is Dr. Jason Fung, F-U-N-G, Jason Fung. And the other one was Dr. Chatterjee. Yes, Ranjan Chatterjee. And Dr. Chatterjee, he went through 11 ways to start reversing diabetes today. So he's giving you the 1-2 step of, getting where you want to get out of, and so on. And both of them give you what they call the quick start guide. And because when we think about it's a non-communicable disease, but when we think about it, a lot of people think like, oh my goodness, it's a death sentence. I'll have this for life. I'll have this forever. And nothing's ever going to be the same again. I have to start pricking myself and taking medication every day and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And it may be so for some and it may be not so for others. Then it may progress into something else, which is, so you've got diabetes period, but then you've got type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And so it will develop into a number of different things for a number of people. But yeah, let's just talk about that. Reversing diabetes part. Guys, don't forget to share this video. Tell your friends and your family. Tell everybody. Let's talk about it. And today we're getting rid of that myth that diabetes is a death sentence. You've got it for life and you just have to figure out how to deal with it. No, it's not true at all. Grace Trillers, crown him. Oh yes. Oh yes. Man, listen. Woo! Crown him King of Kings. Let us crown him Lord of Lords. Ever that in there, that last little bit of the Grace Thrillers. They do thrill, don't they? Right, so talking about that non-communicable disease that everybody is going to dread. and think it's just the end of their life when it comes to living as they know it, and so on and so forth. Let's talk about it a little bit. So let's focus on what Dr. Fung, F-U-N-G, Dr. Fung, has to say. He says it's fully reversible, and I believe him. All right. What he was describing in his, and you can go to the website. The website is medium.com, and then you can just search for him, or just Google him, Dr. Jason Fung. You can Google him and you'll find out some information on it there. So it's medium, medium.com, where I got this particular bit of information. There were a couple of other sites that provided me with some good backup and stuff. So it just confirmed what these guys were saying. And so we know, quite a few people, doctors, dietitians, diabetes specialists, they say that basically type 2 diabetes is a chronic and progressive disease. And what's really funny is one of the things that he said is the American Diabetes Association, they actually say, he said this, it was kind of interesting, and they proudly say this on their website. You know, I could just imagine him saying that, you know, and they proudly say this on their website. But, you know, once you get diagnosis, everybody says that it's a life sentence. But he is quick to tell you quite the contrary. It really is not a death sentence. And he says type 2 diabetes is almost always fully reversible. And this and his words are, it's ridiculous to prove. So let me just go through what he says here. He goes through some statistics. More than 50% of adults have been diagnosed with it, pre-diabetes or diabetes. And then the thing is, one of the things that is important in any kind of illness or any realization is to understand what is going on. So we know that something is going on, something is happening in your body. So it is something that people tend to know even before they get the diagnosis, because your body will go through certain changes, certain experiences. So then you're a little aware of what is going on. So when there's a reason why you're going to go to the doctor and say, hey, doctor, listen, check this out for me. Well, everybody doesn't check this out for me. But there's some people that say, yeah, doc, check this out for me though. You know? So we may have somebody who has been diagnosed with type 2. That's the beginning. Well, pre, then type 2, then if it continues to progress, it's then type 1, and so on. So then quite often when people are diagnosed with it, what he's saying, what I've also witnessed is people will tend to try their hardest and best to lose weight, and aiming that they want to take themselves off medication and so on. So he says, suppose you have a friend who's diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and like I was saying, they're going to work hard to lose some weight, 10, 15, 20 pounds. They may be skinny as a nail. Well, there's some fat nails, but skinny as a nail. And so they're going to, focus on doing that, and then take themselves off all medication, and blood sugars and everything become normal. You tend to wonder, well, hold on, didn't the doctor say that you have diabetes? But if you're off medication and your blood sugar is normal, how exactly did that happen? And the question is, what would you say? What would you be thinking about if that happens to somebody? And I find that when we are really quick, just like that, to say, well, the doctor said, and that's it. It's written in stone. There's a guy who says, the pencil broke, that's all she wrote. That's it. No, because the doctor said so. There are other alternatives. All right. But we are so quick to believe and accept. And you guys know my conspiracy theory when it comes to certain diseases and so on. So because the doctor said this is so, it doesn't always necessarily mean that's it. All is done. Go take drugs and this, that, and hypo this, and clenogen this, and monosodium this, and monosodium. That's all right. Telling people to take salt. And you know, we're really quick to just accept. And the good thing is that there's some doctors who will be very, very willing to be open to non what is conventional medicine. So then you have the non-traditional, which would be holistic and natural and so on. And it's good when we are willing to explore these things in reference to getting healthy, healing ourselves, and getting better and going back to the beginning. So reversing diabetes is what we're talking about here. So you know, if somebody is doing all of these things, you know, they've lost their weight, they've come off their medication, their blood sugar is normal, you know, good for you, good job, keep up the good work, awesome, like I tell my kids. You know, what wouldn't you say is something like, you're a liar, or my doctor says that this disease is chronic, it's forever, and so you must be lying. Well, Dr. Jason Fung actually has a gentleman who was able to do this. So he was pointing out that the disease is reversible. And it's not just one person, not two people, but quite a few people. And only diet and lifestyle changes, he's saying, will reverse it. So the mere fact that only diet and lifestyle changes is going to reverse diabetes, it shows us that we ourselves are the ones who put ourselves in. I'm saying we. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping I'm good. I got to get myself checked out, huh? But, you know, making sure that you're in good stead with your blood glucose level, you know, sugar in your blood. Sugar diabetes. What's the difference between sugar and sugar diabetes? None. Right. So the most important thing, of course, is to lose weight. This is if you are overweight. I would say get fit. But the diabetes medications don't always help you to lose weight. And what he was saying was that insulin actually doesn't help you to lose weight. It's actually quite known for causing you to gain weight. So a lot of the times where you have some people with diabetes, they're gaining weight, and it's not necessarily that they're eating horribly, but quite often it's the medication that they're taking. And there are quite a few medications now out there that they're saying you may even lose a little weight. Yeah, these scientists know what they're doing. I'm just saying. Okay, so moving right along. Right, so and then he says patients actually sense that they're heading down the wrong path when they begin to take the medication, and you know, you feel your body, you know, acting a certain way, and they would often say, you've always said that weight loss is the key to reversing diabetes, yet you prescribe me drugs that make me gain 25 pounds, 30 pounds, and how is that good? But here's the thing. He himself, and doctors, quite a few doctors would say, you know, I don't have all the good answers. I don't have all the answers because none exists. And this brings me, I'll never forget this. I remember going to an ER. You have to sign a disclosure, not a disclosure, disclaimer. It's a really short story. Just about this, how he said, I never had a good answer because none existed. When the patient asked him, you know, why are you prescribing me something that's causing me to gain weight when you're telling me that losing weight is the best thing for me with reference to this whole diabetes thing. So I remember having to go to the ER 2015, and this paper that I had to sign, I read through stuff that I have to sign. Even if I'm on my deathbed, what is it? I'll read it. So the paper said, in essence, after reading all this, we'll treat you, we'll check you out, we'll send you there, we'll do this, we'll blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. We may prescribe you medication, we may not prescribe you. We may send you home, we may keep you here. All of that shindig. And one of the sentences in this thing, in a nutshell, basically said, but if anything goes wrong because of something that happened here, hands off, we're not to blame, okay? Because medicine is not an exact science. I'm like, well, hold on, though. I'm coming here to rely on your expertise. And you're telling me, just in case you're wrong with your expertise that you say you have, that you're not liable? Well, yeah. And then I said, so if I don't sign this, I'm not going to get treated, right? No. And if I sign this and something goes wrong, y'all are clear, right? Yeah. I mean, everything worked out. Everything's good. And I repeated this. I had to go again. But my point is that, it's just really interesting. But moving right along. So he said yes. He had no good answers. And the truth was that insulin was not good for type 2 diabetes. It was only good for reducing blood glucose. So the key was weight loss, where the diabetes often goes away or at least gets significantly better with weight loss. So logically, insulin does not help reverse the diabetes, but actually worsens it. But that's kind of confusing. But I'm going to continue sharing this information with you. So you have other medications that he mentions that are what you would call weight neutral. So they won't make things worse, but they won't make things better either. So they just kind of like make sure you don't kick the bucket kind of thing. So since weight loss is the key to reversing type 2 diabetes, and medications won't make things any better. Medications make your blood sugar, the symptoms, better, but not the diabetes itself, the actual disease, which is what you really want people to deal with and fix for you. So he says we've been pretending that the symptom is the disease, but isn't that with everything? With a cold, you treat the symptoms because you just have to write it out. With pain, back pain, you take painkillers because you just gotta write it out. And then after you get over it, you tend to be able to do things to help you not have that severe back pain that you had before, or build up your immune system so that when the flu comes around again, you don't get it, that sort of thing. So in essence, we treat a lot of illnesses, treat symptoms to write it out. All right. So we've been using the wrong treatments, he says. We've been prescribing drugs for a dietary disease. He says, no wonder it doesn't work. He is too funny. So how can you reverse type 2 diabetes? And he, in essence, says that our entire body is like a sugar bowl. If you think about all the things that we consume, the entire the characteristics of diabetes, type 2, pre-diabetes, type 1, is that our bodies are filling up with sugar. And if you think about that sugar bowl, it's not just that it's too much sugar in our blood, because that's only one part of the problem. All right, but there's just too much sugar in our entire body. So then your body just has to figure out, well, hold on, I keep getting more sugar. Well, I mean, what am I going to do with all of this sugar? And so he says, when you are young, our sugar bowl is empty. It's so true. And after a while, we eat too much of the wrong things. We're not moving. We're doing cereals, desserts, white bread. Actually, almost everything has sugar in it. And what I found out was a lot of things that we eat have simple carbohydrates in it. And carbohydrates, we do know that it basically churns right over into sugar for the body. So basically, we're filling up on sugar. So he's saying that the next time that you eat, just think of your body as that sugar bowl. And, you don't want to have that bowl full so that then it spills out, because then it spills out into your blood. And that's where the problem really begins. And insulin is a normal hormone. We all know this. Well, I'm assuming that we all know this, that It's a normal hormone. And so we've got it. We've got cells that are already filled with glucose. So when you think about the insulin producing hormone, when we eat it, it is supposed to allow glucose into our cells. When it doesn't do that anymore, the glucose basically piles up, and it goes into the blood, and then you've got that insulin resistance issue. All right, so we don't want that to happen. We don't want to have that glucose spilling over. So if you think about what he drew the attention, the analogy to is like it's like blowing air into an overinflated balloon, and obviously it simply takes more force, and the cell resists the so it doesn't go anywhere, because you're blowing that air into that balloon, nothing happens because it's completely full. So you've got that overflow phenomenon of insulin resistance. Or if you think of packing your suitcase with too much clothes, it's not going to close. It's just going to spill over, All right. So when that happens, and you have that resistance where the blood sugar then begins to rise, you've got your diabetes, and most doctors will put you on a pill to help regulate that that resistance and help your body to deal with it one way or the other. So he brought up something here, metformin. He says that metformin is supposed to help, but it does not get rid of the sugar. It simply takes the sugar from the blood and rams it back into the liver. So it redirects it. It's almost like a traffic jam here. I don't know where to put you. Go there. Go down that road. That's a one-way road. When you get down there, just chill out. So then you've got the liver. It doesn't want it either. So then it ships it all over out to all the other organs, your kidneys, your nerves, your eyes, your heart, blah, 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 yada, 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 and so on, which is really scary if a doctor is doing this. And, again, my conspiracy theory. Well, Karine, who says the doctor is wrong? Everybody is taking it. And this is what I'm saying to myself. And I'm saying, well, yeah, everybody is taking it, and they've been taking it for years, and they're not getting any better. And quite a few people have gotten worse. And the ones who are not getting worse are the ones who are exercising and changing their diet and doing this and doing that in addition to. So I'm wondering, well, so that means that this is true, because I'm reading this, I was thinking, well, yeah, this is really true. So anyhow, so we still have this whole sugar bowl that we are this sugar bowl. We're putting everything in there, and it's overflowing, and we're moving the sugar around in our body. It's in our blood, and we're trying to push it here and push it there. It's not really working out how it's supposed to be working out, but we keep trying to do it anyhow. And it's almost like I had this finger that was giving me some issues, and I had to go and get it sliced and diced, but I remember I tried to do it myself, and then I put a Band-Aid on it. It's closed. Nothing's gonna happen. You have to get it opened, get everything out, and get it dealt with. So yeah, just putting that Band-Aid over there, you got to get it out of you. And so, it felt safe while the Band-Aid was on it. It felt safe. And if I'm dressing, it doesn't hurt as bad. So I was able to function. Right. But it wasn't fixing it, because then when I had to take off the Band-Aid, I was like, oh, no. It wasn't fixing my problem. All right. So yeah, we gotta take that band-aid off and take that sugar out and stop filling our body up with sugar. So, when you go to the doctor, instead of getting rid of the sugar that's inside of you, he's gonna give you medication, which makes sense, because that's what he's supposed to do, right? And based on the associations and the fellowships that he belonged to, they said, well, yeah, It's only obvious that this is what you do. So anyhow, so over a period of years, you went from pre-diabetes to diabetes to taking one medication, then two, then three, then finally large doses of insulin. And here's the thing. If you're taking more and more medication to keep your blood sugars at the same level, your diabetes is getting worse. Makes sense, right? Even if your blood sugar gets better, your diabetes is getting worse. So I think they have this now, your A1C and so on, that you're measuring to see if how bad you are, how good you are, and all that sort of stuff. And the body is already overflowing with sugar anyhow. And the medications only hide it around, pushing it around the body, pushing it down avenues and lanes and highways and stuff. And it's really, really crazy. Anyhow. So, he's so funny. Dr. Jason Fung, you're funny. He said doctors can congratulate themselves on an illusion of a job well done. Even as patients get, sicker, which is, again, so you would say, well, because people are not taking the medication the way they're supposed to and so on. I'm thinking, well, how other than a certain time of day and put it in your mouth and swallow it, with food, without food, blah, 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 and so on. I mean, it's developed into this industry that is amazing, where people, apart from the pills that people are popping now, it's the machines and the injections and the needles and the pumps and this and the that and the tests you have to do ever so often, and it's really just a big thing. So Dr. Fung says, imagine that you hide your kitchen garbage under the rug instead of throwing it out. You can see it, so you pretend your house is clean. When there is no more room under the rug, you throw the garbage in your bedroom and bathroom too. It's really funny. Yeah, so like I was saying, people just get worse. They lose body parts. And losing a body part doesn't necessarily mean having your toe amputated or your foot amputated, but your ears, your hearing, your sense of feel, your fingertips, your toes, the soles of your feet, your eyesight, all these different things are affected by the chronic progressive disease, which is irreversible. We're going to get to that. So don't forget that you have to think about what he's saying here, where medications just really shift things around. It doesn't, you're not getting any better, but you're not getting any worse, because your disease isn't really being dealt with. And slight mess up. Cat spraddle. Do you know what cat spraddle means? It means that everything is just topsy-turvy. Okay? All right, so here we say, so no less than seven multinational, multi-center, randomized controlled trials of tight blood glucose control with medications failed to demonstrate a reduction in heart disease, the major killer of diabetic patients. And when I was researching this, it says one of the symptoms of diabetes is your arteries get furries, so you're susceptible to high blood pressure, to heart attack, and then high cholesterol, and these sort of things, just from this one thing. And he says that's a major killer in diabetic patients. We pretend that using medications to lower blood sugar makes people healthier, but it's been a lie. You can't use drugs to cure a dietary disease. Yeah. So, I thought I had my music on still. I wanted to jig. I want to do a little jig. Alright, so I'll have to stop and put it in and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And I don't feel like stopping and putting it in and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. All right. Oh, Julia said something. I didn't even see what Julia said here. Hold on. I completely missed it. I'm so sorry, Julia. Oh. Thank you, my dear. Tonight was fun. She said my makeup is on the fleek. Thank you. I was having some fun with it today. You want to see the eyes? I kind of really like it today. It's nice and clean, I find, and it took a while, but yeah, it was worth it. But Julia, if you have any comments you want to add in about the what we're talking about tonight, we're talking about diabetes and reversing it, and so on and so forth. Let me just go back here one second. I think I messed up something. I'm trying to figure out why. Right. Okay. Why is this not coming up how I want it to come up? Oh, here we go. Okay. So just going back to this here. How do we reverse type 2 diabetes? There are really only two ways, he says, to get rid of excessive sugar in your body. It's to don't put sugar in it and burn it off if you have it. But because, and that makes sense. So you're not going to on purpose go out of your way to do it. But then, I mean, sometimes you're just eating, and I'm not saying you're stuffing yourself, but bread is a good staple. Some people would say, well, no, it has a lot of sugar in it, but bread is still a good staple. And that's just me. And if you think about carbohydrates in general, potatoes and milk. I know there are vegans and vegetarians out there, but there's nothing wrong with potato and milk. And what else? Fruits and vegetables. They have sugar. It's not all of them. Broccoli doesn't have any sugar. Celery, carrot is high in sugar. Beets, that sort of stuff. So the roughage, you want the roughage, but you kind of want to eliminate the sugar, but it doesn't really work that way. So then when you put some of those sugars in, that will satisfy your natural sugar levels, because you're putting them in, you're not putting them in excessively. You're gonna have to burn them off. That's what he's saying. So those are the two ways, and that's it. That's all we need to do. The best part is it's all natural and completely free. No drugs, no surgery, no costs. Kinda Dr. Fung, Dr. Jason Fung. So the first step is to eliminate all sugar, refined starches, and that sort of thing from your diet. And one thing he points out, which we all know, that sugar has no nutritional value, right? So it can be eliminated. So starches come from a long chain of sugars. Highly refined starches like flour or white rice they break down quickly, and they turn into glucose really quickly into our system, and it goes into our bloodstream like that. So eating white bread increases your blood sugars really quickly. It doesn't really seem that way, but when you're eating it, because it seems like it's really filling you up, that's because of the sugar. But I got to deal with that part. A little bread ain't never hurt nobody. Yeah. Never hurt nobody. So the optimum strategy is to eat little or no refined carbohydrates. So yeah, he's kind of allowing me to eat some bread. And most importantly, stick to eating whole, natural, unprocessed foods. That's easy, right? If you can afford it. And then number two, and if you're like me, where you're busy, where you realize the free time you get, you just want to rest, is yes, you got to burn it off. So, but here is something that he said, and I always looked at this at it like this. I'll just read what he says. So fasting is the simplest and fastest method to force your body to burn sugar for energy. Glucose in the blood is the most easily accessible source of energy for the body. So fasting is merely the flip side of eating. And if you are not eating, you're fasting. When you eat, your body stores food energy. And when you fast, your body burns food energy. So it simply lengthens out your period of fasting. You can burn off more sugar, which is which is really interesting. And I always thought, well, hold on, I am not gonna fast without praying because that's just starvation. And I was young. And but it's kind of true, because when you think about fasting, you're starving the body and forcing the body to use the resources that you've given it. Correct? This is exactly what he is saying, that when you eat, your body stores food energy. And then when you fast, your body burns off that energy. So think about it. And it's one of the ways of helping your body to regulate itself. All right. So if he's saying type 2 diabetes is merely excessive glucose in your body, burning it off will reverse the disease. While it may sound severe, fasting has been practiced for 2,000 years. We know this. It's also the oldest dietary therapy known. Literally millions of people throughout the human history have fasted without problems. This we know. And if you're taking prescription medication, you should seek the advice of your physician. Basically, it will come down to, if you don't eat, will your blood sugar come down? Yes. He says yes. If you don't eat, will you lose weight? He says, of course. It makes sense though, right? But that's it. So reversing type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes can start immediately, no cost, without drugs, without surgery. And it really, really makes sense. If you, in a nutshell, if you missed it, basically, there's also a system called intermittent fasting, but I'm not looking at the fasting and the whatever to lose weight. It is the mere fact that how he has broken down how the body works with diabetes and glucose, it makes sense. So, and again, I'll just repeat what he said. Basically, we are sugar bowls. So if you keep putting sugar in there, you're not doing anything with it, it will spill over. And then where is it going to spill over to? Into your blood. Then you got sugar diabetes. So the sugar that's in there, we're not going to put any more sugar in. We are going to work at burning that sugar off. And after a while, slowly but surely, for some whom it may not, one of the things you will always have to do is to consult with your doctor exactly what you need to do so that you are doing it safely. Because as much as this sounds really great and fantastic and simple and straightforward and free, you are still going to have to be cautious with what you're doing, what you're saying. Now, one of the other people I came across with reference to reversing diabetes, he says 11 ways to start reversing diabetes, and a simple thing. Well, he also points out what is diabetes. It's that chronically elevated blood sugar disease. And I just wanted to point out something to you guys. What are the effects of raised insulin levels? Water and salt retention, which causes raised blood pressure. You become at risk of atherosclerosis, basically furring of the arteries, what I was mentioning, which can lead to heart attacks. And raised insulin in your blood levels, so very low density of lipoproteins, and then it's a type of blood fat, and one of the bad forms of cholesterol, which I mentioned earlier. And then it's going to drive, this one I don't agree with, it's going to drive certain cancer cells. I believe that cancer is man-made. And in women, it can cause ovaries to produce more testosterone, which is associated with polycystic ovarian syndrome, POS. So the effective way to reverse type 2 diabetes is to deal with the underlying cause of insulin resistance. Trying to address the blood sugar levels with medication without addressing the insulin levels is treating the symptom. He is Dr. Chatterjee. Am I calling his name correctly? Dr. Chatterjee. He's basically saying the same thing Dr. Fang was saying. All right, so 11 ways. Avoid all refined carbohydrates. Avoid all added sugar. Avoid all sweet drinks, which is still, again, avoiding all added sugar. It's best to stick to water and unsweetened tea and coffee, or just skip them, in my case. Do not be scared of good quality, healthy, natural fats like avocados, olives, almonds, Greens are good. Nuts and greens and that sort. So don't worry about them causing you to put on weight. It actually, he says that a lot more people lose weight with them and are lower risk for health issues. Don't waste your energy counting calories. Just eat. Concentrate on the quality of the food that you're eating. The calorie control will take care of itself. I can agree with that. Feed your gut bugs. Let me read this one out. Feed your gut bugs, not just yourself. There are trillions of bugs that live in your gut. They're healthy. Their health is critical in determining your health. Many studies show that blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. Start improving health of your gut immediately by eating 5 servings of different colored vegetables each day. But still wash your vegetables. Non-digestive fiber in vegetables is the preferred food for your gut. And for your gut bacteria. So when your gut bugs are happy, you will be happy. Yay! Toilet number 1 and toilet number 2 and toilet number 3 and 4, 5, 6. The wider the variety of the colors, the more phytonutrients you will be getting. So do a 5-minute kitchen workout once a day. This is going to be before breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So 5-minute kitchen workout. If you like to snack, keep some high-fat, healthy snacks. Olives, nuts, hummus, peas. When you snack on refined carbohydrates, you go on a blood sugar roller coaster. And we all know this. Your sugar spikes, falls, blah, 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 and so on. Include high-quality proteins and fat with every single meal. So it helps to stabilize your blood sugars and promotes satiety and fullness, satisfaction, basically, making it less likely you'll want to reach for dessert after your meal. So a little bit of meat is good. Eat your meals sitting down at a table, not like me driving or walking or drinking a protein thinking it can make a difference. Eating on a sofa while watching TV encourages a mindless form of eating. This is true, not just sitting on the sofa. Driving and eating is mindless eating. Walking and eating is mindless eating. If you're not just relaxing and sitting and completing that meal and enjoying it and tasting that meal, complete different ballgame. All right, so consider a form of regular fasting. So here we go with this again. Such as intermittent fasting or time-restricted feeding. Means your calories during a specific window of the day. You're taking your calories at a specific time of the day and choosing not to eat food for the rest. It is a great way to reduce insulin levels in your body and help undo the effects of chronically elevated levels. So he too is saying that this is a disease that should be dealt with through diet and not medication. But I still say, understanding how diabetes works in your body, and if your doctor has had you on medication, could you just imagine cold turkey in this and not worrying, I'm going to do what those guys do, I'm going to go on a fast. Yeah, no, though. You gotta, no. You have to consult with your doctor and say, listen, doc, this is what's going on. I want to do this, and I want you to help me to do this because I want to get off of the drugs, the Metformin, the Diamicron, the insulin, the needles, the everything. I just want to stop. And you will realize that if you have the support of somebody who has knowledge, maybe not all the knowledge that you need, if you have somebody who has that knowledge that can help you move forward, it's going to make a big difference in your decisions because your doctor will maybe do some step downs for you with reference to medication. And when I say step down, suppose you were on, 5, 6, 7 different things: cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart, diabetes, this, that, and he takes you off of 1 and 2 because he's testing you and monitoring you and everything. You will see a big difference. So as for me, I'm just going to try this fasting thing. I have tried Oh, I'm not going to eat after 7 o'clock. Oh my goodness, this is so hard. Because sometimes you're not finishing work. You're still working at like 9 and 10. So how can you went to work at 2 o'clock or something. So how can you have your last meal at 4 or 7? But yeah. So guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Yo, 1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. Remember to tell your friends, tell everybody, share this video. We talked about reversing diabetes today. So share with your friends, share on your page, tell everybody. Okay, 1, 2, talk it off. 1, 2, talk it off. I'm too silly. Hi, Louise, and April. Thank you guys for joining me. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Wait, we gotta go out with some music. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with some Promise. Love Letters.
I remember days when we were together.